Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. So today's video, we're going to be working on a layout. And it was so funny while I was looking for, I forget what it was exactly, but I found a collection that my bestie Beatrice had gifted to me. And so I wanted to play with it. This is, well, I'll hold it up in a second, but I'm going to be also using this Simple Stories template. And the bottom paper is basically the size of the paper you need to fit underneath the templates. I was like, wait a minute, it might be like an eighth of an inch longer, but just you can trim that off, right? Even if it's a little bit hanging out, you can always trim that off later. Or like for me, I just moved it up an eighth of an inch and then trimmed. And then we're going to cut off at the other line, and then it was a perfect fit for underneath our template. I'm going to just make sure I have it going the right way, which is going to be wind up being this way. And so this is the collection. It's Salvage. Oh my God, what is it called? I held it up too fast. It's Salvage District from Prima. And I showed you the 6x6 pad and the 3x4 cards. And then we're using one of the 12x12 sheets. So I'm taking one of the 6x6 papers and I'm going to cut it down to 3x3. I'm going to get two mats for the photos because our photos are going to be in the 3x3 size. And then the 3x4 cards are going to go right in the 3x4s. And we're not going to mat those. We're just going to mat the photos. So these are photos that she had sent me sharing when she went on this hike. I want to say it was like at the beginning of September. And she knows by now. She'll send me pictures and they'll show up in layouts that I do because I mostly work. So yeah. Sometimes you need photos, so I'm so grateful she shares them with me. So I'm gonna just trim these down. And the best part is she can still scrap them herself. And these are just versions that I have. And, I'm just grateful that she's the best friend that allows me to use pictures for sure. All right, and we're just trimming top and bottom. On the top and bottom of this one, I did do like an eighth and an eighth. It's still going to be the same distance around um, on the matte paper, but it's gonna work out better. So of course with my glue press, I had to use my pin to kind of unglue it because I left it without the pin in it. And you'll see at part of this layout or this video, you'll see I'll switch to another bottle of art glitter glue that I found opened and in another spot where it wasn't supposed to be. But it's okay because it's still usable and I'm going to use it for probably the rest of this video once I start using it. I still keep trying to use the glue press, but it was fighting me and I probably need to fill it up. But like I said, for some reason, I always forget to double check it before I start my video. And you would think, knowing that I use glue and tape runner or, AGT tape, that would be something that I would do. So the other two cards I'm going to put down in their spots. It's so funny because as you're looking at this, it almost is like the template fades away. Do you guys notice that sometimes? But it's still there. I'm still using it as a lineup and you'll see me kind of lift it, especially to like kind of get to the glue areas because the 3x4 cards literally fit. Like they're perfectly inside there and they might actually go a little bit past, but it was not too bad to make it look weird on the collection, the little collage of photos that we're doing. But I love how these turned out and there's so many options for these, you know what I mean? And I was thinking maybe I'll put awesome on the side and I was like, nah, I'm going to put it down here at the bottom. I just wasn't sure exactly where it was going to fit on the card base, but I decided to bring out all the flowers that she had given me. Not all of them. There were a couple of packages that I did not pull out, but I knew I wanted to use these three flowers And I think I'm going to put the two over there. And then there was this really long one. Oh my God, this one right here. This was so pretty. I was like, yes, I'm using it. And I'm going to put these other two flowers on the top. And then this one, I think I'm going to put it, yeah, up here on the upper right. And then I knew I was going to bring in some smaller flowers from this collection. These have more glitter on them. It's hard to see, obviously, distance-wise from here, but I do wind up, I just, yeah, I'm putting one over next to the Awesome at the end. Yeah, I didn't like that. I like how the diagonal has the flowers, one in the center, and then you have one, on each of the corners, basically. So now there was a package of ephemera, and so I'm going to try and dump those out. And we're just going to go through and grab some things like a little ticket. And then there's like this little envelope. So we're going to put those two up there. And I'm just going through all the pieces, really just trying to find, some small things that I can kind of maybe play with and tuck underneath the flowers just to give it a little bit of interest. The best thing about the templates is you can go as extravagant as you want, or you can make it as simple as you want. You know what I mean? Because the hardest part of the layout is already done for you. You have your photo placement. You have, if you're using 3x4 cards, you have those in a placement, and you have it already backed, matted, and it's done, ready to go. So the part that takes a little bit longer is just figuring out how are you going to decorate it. You know what I mean? So I would say like the majority of this film is literally me going through all this ephemera as you guys are watching, and figuring out what to use, what not to use. What do I like, what I don't like. And then once I figure out what we have and what we're going to use, then it's just a matter of moving things to the side, and then let's get this puppy down. And we just have a few more things. And I want to say, yeah, I did. I already put it down there on the bottom left. So I'm pretty good with that. And then I decided, I am going to use some Nuvo drops. And I wanted to bring those two colors over. And then we're going to start laying everything down. So I think it's at this point that I bring out the other glue bottle. Because you'll see, I'm going to pick up the gun and it's just not going to be doing right. Oh, yeah. I think I'd already given up. I'm like, forget that. I'm just going to grab this. All right. And we're going to put a little bit more glue and then lay it down. And I left that little piece up in the upper left because I knew pretty much where that was where I wanted the top to go. And I didn't really move it too much when I pick that piece up, so I knew it was a good spot. And I just have my clear block that I'm using to hold it down, so that way the glue adheres. And then pretty much, I want to say from here on out, except for with the little pieces that we put into our little cluster of flowers, I'm using mostly glue. And you do have to sort of like hold and press as you go with the flowers. You could use foam if you wanted to pop some of them up. I wanted just to have this be not as flat as possible, but basically as flat as possible. And we're going to put these down since we have our whole section right here. And then those 2 pieces or 3 pieces over that were on the bottom left-hand side of this cluster, once I get the these last 2 flowers kind of worked out, I'm going to go ahead and start gluing them together using mostly the wet glue. And then figuring out where I want them to lay. I put the glue down on the back of all of it, and then it'll fit right in there. And I just take that little curled part at the end and lift it up over top of it, and then put our flower over that whole thing, so it's just kind of peeking out. So you have a nice combination, a little bit of ephemera, the flowers, And we're going to add another piece there, but I'm going to save that for towards the end to tell you about that. Okay, so we glued down Awesome. And we're going to just keep going from right to left. I thought I didn't glue down the flower, but it was taking a while for that glue to adhere. Now, I will tell you, Prima flowers, when I first really started getting into Prima, I love their flowers, and I still do. They're beautiful. But I noticed that with these, I don't know if it's because they're a little bit older now. It was taking a little bit more glue to hold them down than I remember when I first used them. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. So with this one, again, wet glue to put the two pieces together, and I'm just going to slip them right underneath the flower. And I was happy. For the most part, I was able to put everything exactly where I wanted it from how I first laid everything down. And I love when something like that comes together, you know? So we're going to press and hold. And then I think, did I glue that one down? Okay, yeah, I did. I'm just pressing down, trying to get that to adhere. And then I'm going to start in here. That's what I did. I pulled out, there were two glass bottles. One was long in cylinder, which I'm going to put over here on the left side. And the other one has a little bit of like it's skinny up at the top, and then it's kind of wide at the bottom. And so I added that one to the upper right hand side. And what I did was I used the art glitter glue. And then I also used, you'll see me put underneath of them some glossy accents. So I did that because with these being glass bottles, I just wanted to make sure that it would hold really strong. And I know my art glitter glue normally is really good. I've had it hold down acrylic pieces. I've used it on metal pieces. It holds it down. But with this glass, these little plastic glassy things, the glossy accents is a good help. It'll just wind up being clear, maybe a little bit shiny, but it's not going to pull away from the clearness of the bottles at all. Once it's dry, it'll still be clear, you know? So I think they'll be really pretty. And then while I'm holding that down on the left, I'm just looking to see if there's anything I can kind of stick up in the middle there with the flower. So that way we have a little bit of an ephemera piece with each flower cluster. And then once I find that piece, we go ahead and put it down. And I'm just holding it up so you can see the clear little bottles. And now I'm going to get some paper and we're going to go ahead and do our splatters. Now for the first time, splatters is not going to be the end. I am going to do the Nuvo drops at the end, but I wanted to get the splatters down so that way once I was done with my enamel dots, then, or Nuvo drops, however you want to call them, I can put it to the side to let it dry, because the Nuvo drops will need time to dry, like overnight, as many hours as you can give it, especially depending on how big you make them. Okay, so for the colors, I used gold, white, and black. My main trifecta. My main go-to. And then I think after I get this on, I'm going to take the coverings off, and then I hold it up again so you can see the splatters. And then we're also going to put away the ephemera bits. And I think I dropped some. I'll wind up picking them up later. I was like, good Lord. I'm just trying to get done so I can do these enamel dots. And I wanted to get a little piece of paper out so I could test. Because this slightly purple one, this purple lavender, whatever color you want to call it, it looked like the color was separating, so I wanted to test it on a piece of paper over on the side, which I did. And then what I'm going to do, which you'll see later, is stick my whole arm in it, because I'm smart. Right there. I was like, really? Really, T? You're just going to put your whole arm in it? Makes sense. But mind you, I'm not even paying attention. I test this one, and this one is a Dream Drop, and this one is Golden Shimmer. So when it dries, it'll have sort of like a gold shimmer to it, which will be nice with the gold splatters that I did. See, thinking outside the box. And there I am cleaning up my mess because I decided to use my arm to decorate. But now I'm taking the clear ones. And I would say with these, I don't count. With the purple one, I did do 9. But with this one, I just put them all over wherever I wanted to because, one, they're clear. They're going to be like a gold shimmer. It'll be all right. And then I was just making sure her photo didn't have nothing on it. And we made it, y'all. We made it to the end. And I think it's so pretty. So thank you so much for joining me and making it all the way to the end. If you haven't before, please consider subscribing and liking this photo or liking this video. And I so appreciate you guys. The next video that we have will probably be on Tuesday. If I can. Right now, I am having to work that day, so I'm going to see what I can do. But as always, I appreciate you, and I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks, you guys.